We're going to switch to looking at weekly charts, as daily charts are, well, off the charts. So here's the Qtec weekly chart. Qtec weekly chart is on the D wave up wave 4 and the D wave down wave 3, and you can see the wave started back here in June of 2022 with the A. And the weekly Bollinger Band here for Qtec is set at a 39 period with 2.5 standard deviations for upper and lower, and set to true high. So we really raised the bar on that here. You can see back in this run up here from May through June that it was pushing up against it, but one slight breach here on that week of June 11th. So this is going to be really hard to breach here, but not too hard to where it can't tap against it, maybe a breach. So really difficult. So we really got that bar raised high, and the Stark band is right there at 171.37, so price is pushing that envelope up too. And the sequential sell countdown is on 12, and the combo countdown set to less strict is on sell countdown 10. And we know that the 13s for sequential and combo printed in the daily chart, so we'll go by this one now. And price has been closing above the channel 3 high for 6 days now, so that's due for a pullback to get back under it, or some sideways movement action for the high channel 3 to get back above price. But then again, I have been stating that we're out of the woods and still hanging around by the tree line, looking at the middle of the meadow. And then now it looks like the weight of trillions of dollars pouring out of the woods has pushed us right into the middle of the meadow, and we're dancing around like a bunch of hippies and Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco, 69. And in this Qtec weekly chart, the 50% and 100% momentum down is here at 149.30. And it looks like we have the rainbow pattern going on here. Let me make that brighter. And that's a little better. We can see it now. The blue 20, red 35, gold 50. Looks like the 20 went above the red here in March, and then the 35 went above the 50 in June, and it's had that nice pattern, evenly spaced and looking really good. And the cloud conversion line and baseline is very similar to the S&P 500 weekly chart. They're running neck and neck right on top of each other. And I just took the cloud itself off, as we do not use that on the weekly chart. However, we do use the conversion line and baseline, and I've seen it many a time run neck and neck like this in the S&P 500. Usually I watch that, and whichever way it breaks to the upside or the downside is a strong indication of the trend and direction to follow. So it looks like they've been running neck and neck since November 19th on that week, and it's similar to the S&P 500. The Shande momentum indicator is at 35.83. That's very mild. You can see at the height of that big run up, it almost made it to 70, 63.58, so that's quite high. 70 is about the max and start thinking about a turnaround. So this turned around 64 or so. And everybody's up in the nosebleed section here. ATM trigger pressure is at 102, and the fast trigger 98.81, slow trigger 101.18, so we're just sailing away up there. Again, we'll look for a break to the downside, usually the fast trigger first. And for Qtec Weekly, the REI is pointed down, and we're having a strong uptrend. So that's trying to seek neutral zero. Let's see what happens if and when it makes it to zero. DM1 is now above the overbought, and ROC looked like it was going to go under its overbought a few weeks ago, and it bounced right off of it. That's somewhat similar to the S&P 500 daily, did the same thing. And it is really sailing away up there. And the DMI plus and minus are pointed in their respective directions. And the ADX is at 28.53. And that probably moves a lot slower on the weekly chart than it does the daily chart. But you can see that it's pointed back up a bit after a bit of a sideways action for price up here, and then a mini downdraft. So you can see how that works. It started coming down, indicating that the direction is pointed down for price, not trend. And then it planed out here, and price started trending up, and the direction followed. So we're in the up direction here for sure. But it saved itself from going under quite handily, 26.4, so no threat. Get under 20, then that's a concern and need to reevaluate. And this rainbow pattern here, we'll zoom in a little bit, is the 4, 9, and 18 in gold. So it has a rainbow pattern going on here. You can see it changes a lot here, but everything it looks like happened on November 12th. The 4 went above the 9 and 18, and then the 9 went above the 18 right around in this area. So that was a clue, which we didn't really notice till now. So you can see that we noticed the 20, 35, 50 was in that rainbow pattern for a long time, since May. And this 4, 9, 18 will show you the fits and starts along the way. And here's the S&P 500 weekly chart looking back to the COVID crash era. I'll zoom in now. And the Bollinger Band, same as the Qtec, 39 period, 2.5 standard deviations based on true high. So that bar is up there too. And the weekly resistance line that I extended from this qualified canceled demand line was breached, and that was at 46.6205. So that's where that's at for the week. If it stays above that, then next week is 46.81.13 about. And it has not been above the channel 3 high as long as Qtec. Here we have 5 days. I think Qtec was 6 weeks, I'm sorry, based on a weekly chart. So for 5 weeks it's been above the channel 3 high. So it's due for a pullback or sideways action. We need to get that channel 3 high back above price. Same with the Stark band, which is above price, 47.3503 to start the day today on the 14th. And there was that disqualified supply line here, so that's the same as the daily chart. There was 2 over there, so that's 3 disqualified supply lines just about in the same area. And to the downside, there's a conglomeration of support here. You can see the conversion line and baseline running together just like Qtec Weekly. Channel 3 low 44.13.27, and the mid band of the Bollinger Bands is there at 43.91.22. Same thing with the Stark band, lower band 43.96.53.